Okay, hi guys, it's Amanda here. So what I've done today is we're going to just recap. This is the second week. Yeah. And the word for today is Radiant. And what I will do is just show you what I did for last week. I'm slightly a bit behind in terms of processing the videos. I've just amassed a whole leap of things that I'm getting myself involved in, and but the videos will be coming out in time. So what I want you to do is make sure that you listen to the podcast and then go into your art journal. What I'll do today, sorry it is a bit late, when you see this I would have already done it, but I'll try and maybe even get the 2 videos out today. So what you'll see is what I did for last week and the making of the video. Sorry, not the making of the video, the making of the book. And I'll just recap. So what I did for the first book of this month, with the overall word for the month being free, is I made a I'd already made this journal, but I hadn't completed it. So what I've added is I covered it with hand-painted paper, and this is almost like this background paper where I've laid it down, and wherever I get any extra paint I put it on here. And this one is one in the making that I just didn't want so much for it to be too cluttered, so that's why I turned it over. But I will be using that for something and adding more to it. And then I've done a few of the pages. But where the word comes into play, last week's word was spirited, is that I had some cards that I was going to use for another project, and I just felt like making a mini book, and that's for me. I was thinking about it, and I was thinking that's where the word, in terms of following your impulse, following desire, and I'll come in a little bit closer so that you can see it. And this is a happy accident. So what I was going to cover it with was a fabric coated with a sticky back fabric, and it had lost its stickiness, so I added glue gun and put it on. The next door neighbour's calling their dog, and it came off. And then this is the glue gun, which has hardened, and then all I've done is painted it and then covered it with just rubbed on. It's a rub-on really, gold rub-on, and I'll be adding to it as time goes on. And then some of the pages I've added, so where it was, this is just the glue gun stuck, and it almost looks like a covering, but it's quite solid and firm. Let me just come out slightly. And so I've just added, I haven't added anything in those pages. Where the middle looked like it was coming out, I just added some washi tape, and then on the back I added some tissue paper, patterned tissue paper, and then covered it with a bit of gesso, and that was it. So that, in terms of, made an extra journal, but for me that was the word, and I will just dip in and out. I like dipping in and out of art journals. So we're on to this week's journal. this journal, the journal for this month, which they surprisingly enough get filled pretty quickly if you're working in it every day. Dog wants to sit right behind me, so I'm trying to get it to sit under the table. Go and sit under the table. It either sits literally right behind me, so I can't move my chair. Sit there. Oh my gosh. can't move my chair around. I've got a swivel chair and I can't get the fullness of it. Anyway, let's go. Sorry about that. So I've started working on the pages, adding some pages had gesso on it already. Now the paper is old bank statements, and I've got a shredder, so I was shredding and then my shredder broke, and then it was just like, okay, how far back does it go? So 10 years, oh my gosh, 10 years old. Anyway, so using the old bank statements, by the time I've finished with the pages, you won't see anything on them. You might see faint writing or whatever, but it's nice. The paper that they send out is really nice. So today I'm going to get on with some stuff. I've got several things that I looked around my studio and thought, what do I fancy putting in my journal today? So I've got this, I've got on it craft pack, but what it's got in it is a selection of papers. I felt like doing some sort of a collage in it, and I'm just gonna work as I work. You know, I was thinking about this process, and it was just like what I'd started trying to do was, you know, be really prescriptive. Okay, on this page we're going to do this, and that's not really the way I work, but you can do that if you want, yeah. And one of the other things is I've got quite a few of these kind of little packs of paper that are kind of, is this my new word? New packs of paper that are sitting around waiting for something to be done. Like, as I pick these up, I'm thinking, oh, these might make little nice mini canvases. You know, like the mini canvases, cover it and then create a create a mini canvas. What else have I got in here? So I'd obviously cut these up to do something, and it might have been to make a mini canvas. I don't know, but that's for another day. So we have a look in there. I guess. Oh, I think I was going to make a little journal out of this. This is some lino. I was going to do some maybe lino cutting. Who knows? Got two bits here. Ooh, I love this paper, and I've kept it because I hadn't wanted to use it. This, I think I'd got it amongst some other papers that I went to an art shop in New York, so I've had it that long, and these were papers. Oh, I love this. These were papers that I brought. I brought several colours. Is this vintage? So this is it more than 20 years old? Is it? Where did we go? It's 920, it's 10, 90. It must have been, oh, I can't remember. Anyway, but it's old. And then these were, ooh, I think I was making like, you know, like things to wrap. So wrap my sold pieces so that you would get the brown paper itself when decorated is really nice. And so I put a stamp on that I'd made. I created this stamp, and then they were gonna cover pieces of artwork, mini books. Let me see if I'm not gonna cover this book again, but anyway, so that's that. Got some tags here. Got some bubble wrap, so you can use a bubble wrap as a stamp. Okay, and then we've got, this is lovely paper. This is all I've got of these papers now, these two bits, literally. So handmade paper, what's this? This looks like a stamp that I did, and then some more tags and tissue. A serviette, patterned serviette. So that's really all in that. So one of the things that I've been doing is saying to myself, okay, so you've got a bag like this, what can you do? What would you do with it? This is canvas that has been, it's been in one of those ring binder books, the ring binders, and this is a bit that you would, is attached to the binder, and then you tear off the pad. But then I thought to myself, they'll make, you can obviously dye these and then use them in a project, you can stitch through them, you can stencil, use them as stencils. Yeah, so looking at the things that you have and how you're going to be able to utilize them. Some sequin waste that I've been using as a stamp, old map. So I would say to myself, do you know what, I just want to use all of this in here somehow. So whether it's covering pages, whether it's, you know, maybe this, I would paint this and then, or spray paint it and use it in a fabric journal, and do something like that. So I've got another container. So, sorry, before I go into the other container, so one of the things that I would want to do is, like, you know, I don't want to be surrounded by this stuff anymore. So how am I going to utilize it? So again, with these small cards, I might, as I say, make mini like mini wall hangings even, maybe. Once you cover them, I've got some toppers. Actually, do you know what? That's what I was thinking. I've got these toppers and I was thinking, how am I going to use them? So this could be how I use them. Cover these and then cover them in toppers and they become mini wall hangings. And I've got 1, 2, 3, possibly 4 wall hangings, who knows. Okay, so this other thing that I had over the years, I've been, you know, making different things, making cards, making everything that you can think of, and I've put it in here. So I was doing some stamping, I was looking at words, as I say, creating cards. I've got a cricket, and so what does this say? Creativity. Birthday. So making cards, and this was going to be, these were going to be, you know, you see how, thinking of you, how you then amass a load of stuff. It says hope. And then I've got other pieces of painted card. So again, being able to utilize these, I've got cards, my own cards, but they're a bit worse for wear. So I wouldn't throw them away, but maybe try and use them. Some of them are okay, actually. Oh, it was just the top ones. The bottom ones, maybe I can cut off the bit like the edges, yeah? Okay, that's something. It's not for you. Okay, but in here, yeah. Okay, let's get down there, because I saw, like, you know, as I said, tags. I've got images that I'd painted, and I was making some key rings at the time. Yeah, so that's why I've got all of these. And then other words in here. So seeing how inspire growth, in seeing how, in terms of words, seeing how I can utilize this maybe in a journal, and or even like looking at this one that I made, how I can maybe take some of the images and add to the page, which could take some of the images which will add to the page, which could be the start of, say, a painting. So this could be a book of, you know, these are the images that I've done over time, and they can either sit and have a word there, so you've got a page with an image. That's how I think, anyway, in terms of utilising them. So what I'm going to do for now then is see if there's things that I can utilize in this book, because that's what I'm going to be working on. I'm going to put this away. You know how easy it is to be distracted, and I'm just going to focus on doing a page spread in this book. Put all the other things that make me think, oh, I want to try that, because I usually work on more than one thing at the same time. So, because this book is for the month, this month is entitled Free, I've got some cutout words again that I've found that I've done over time and hadn't used them, and so I'm going to add them to the front of the book. Just like that. Oh, there's two here. Yeah, just like that. So, where's my glue? I've had to go easy on the glue gun because where I normally get my supplies, they're out of the loose ones, which work out a lot cheaper. They've only got the packets, which is just like, they were overpriced. Packets are overpriced, but the singles, they were just like, at one point I got this for 10 cents, these for 10 cents, when they were selling them for like $13 for 10. So, so I'm just adding there, yeah. So yeah, probably what's best is you know, watch the video. Maybe watch the video first, and then see, have a look at your supplies. Look at your supplies in a different way. You know, think about, like, I literally just picked up the this bag, the bag of. Hadn't thought about the words. Hadn't I thought about the words? Hadn't thought about. I had. Oh, there's a rainbow. I was gonna. I had these stick-on words, and I was thinking of using those, but I can't remember where I put them. Maybe they're in a drawer somewhere. But my studio needs to undergo a clear up. Okay, look at that. I like that. You just add a bit more glue under there. Okay, so I'll probably do another kind of collage because I want to use up some of these that I have here. I've got some maps. Oh, look. So this is from an old magazine. You know what? I'm going to add one of these butterflies on the reverse. So I'll take as I'm cutting it, I'm thinking, do you really want to, I'm just going to roughly cut round. Sorry if where I was cutting it was off camera. Sorry about that. And on the back, I said I was going to rough cut it, but really I want as much of the book to be shown as possible. You know, it doesn't make sense covering up this with just white paper that you're then going to try and do a you know, whatever you've got in your mouth, you're not supposed to have it, Cole. It's the dog. He's just had breakfast. Okay. It's just like impatient. Because you know what I'm thinking of? I'm thinking of those cards and some mini canvases. That's what I'm thinking about. And I'm itching just to even see one covered and see how it would be. It's really nice when you oh look, so I've cut it out anyway. It's really nice when you find uses for supplies that have been sitting around. Like I've had these toppers for a long time and had planned initially to create cards with them. Okay, so this could be a journal like that. So I'm going to do the butterfly like that. It doesn't have, like, I don't have to. If I don't want to, if I want to do some pages portrait, you know, or landscape, it doesn't really matter really. Remember, it's your space, your creative space to do what you want. And so I'm hoping that you've identified things around your creative space that you have not been using, that you could start using and make the most of. Like these were just sitting there, you know, and as I say, they've been sitting around for years, and it's nice to be able to give them a purpose. See, now they've now got a purpose to be part of my art journal. Yeah, mini art journals. Okay, so I'm just gonna let these sit now, and what I'll probably do is utilize these two. See what I've got on the back. I don't want to cut out any more butterflies. So just cut off the excess here. Yeah, I'll just use them in collage for the page. Okay. With these scraps, they can be utilised in paper mache, or, you know, just soak them in water and yeah, you can utilise them in that way. Alright. Righty. Okay. So, I just wanna just cover some pages. That's what I'm feeling. That's what I'm feeling. Think about what you feel like doing and do it in your journal. I need to move this because just ever so slightly, so that I'm not going off camera. So all I've done is I'm utilising this map paper and just adding it to the page. It's acting up. It's like the card is acting up. Okay, and I'm going to do the same on this page. You're saying to yourself, maybe, why did you cut it? Because I thought what would be nice is just to have some additional, it's not just going to, there's going to be other papers on here. Like that, and so say this is beautiful. And oh, I love this paper. It's my favourite. For a long time I didn't want to use it. I had green, red with, I think it's just tissue paper with gold ink on it, just in swirls. But yeah, it was just like, I'd never seen paper like that before. So you can tear paper as well. Well, you know, you can tear paper, but and use very small brushes to get the glue on, or you can use a glue stick, Pritt stick they call it. So where I'm currently sticking paper is just over any writing that you might see on the page. As I said, it's an old, they're old bank statements that were sort of like they're 10 years old now, so doesn't really matter, but I thought, yeah, as a place to start, I'm just covering up the writing, and then just, you know, that's just, yeah, as a place to start. If you're thinking, oh, what do I put on the page? So just using up this. And this would be, for me, I work in stages, so I would, you know, again, just not planned. I know that I want to work through all of this paper. I want to get, at some point, I don't want to have any bits of paper from this bag left. And sometimes you find you start out with a bag and then you end up, I don't know whether you find it, you end up with a lot more paper. It's just like, I was trying to get rid of all this scrap paper. So just working through using as many of the pieces as I can. And then seeing what the result is once I've completed. And put those to the side and use more of these pieces. Some of these papers, they're quite thick, and so what I do is I just spritz them with a bit of water, and that just makes it absorb the glue. I think the dog's sitting out in the sun now. And I've not decided at all what I'm doing on some of these pages. I'm putting some of these to the side because they are my favourites, and I would maybe use them towards the end rather than I'm going to be adding layers. Look at, ooh, somewhere. That's a page with fabric. This is a page that I've just done some gesso, and I'm going to cut this in half and add gesso to the page. Look after your brushes. Not gesso, I'm adding glue to the page. I did say that, didn't I? It's a 3-ply tissue, and I've used 2 of the layers already. So this was the top layer. This is the top layer that I'm using, and I'm doing it so that it's not like just straight on, but it's scrumpled in a way. Gives you a nice texture when you do it like that. And then you just cut off, because if I try and tear it, the whole thing will move. So just add in this in those spaces. Okay, and let's come back. Sounds like he's wearing heels, doesn't he? It's his nails. Sitting right behind me now. Just made himself comfortable. It's just like, you have to sit exactly right behind me. Okay, so if you're not careful, it will tear. I'm just going lightly over this. It's going to take a while to dry, but this whole point for me is that you spend some time being creative, and I find focusing on, like I focused on a word, focused on not focusing on supplies. As I said, I just use what's there, and I've nearly finished what was in the bag. And you know what I'm feeling? I'm feeling I'm going to make this I'm going to add another layer. To the paper. This then will make the paper quite thick. and I'm literally just gonna, I want to keep that paper, so I'll tear that. So this will be a nice surface to work on. Anywhere I've got any excess, I'm just going to add it on top. When it dries, it's really quite nice. It's nice and just dries hard. And you can paint it. Cut off the edge. You see? Yes, you can see. And I've got this to cut off, but I'll leave that for now. Just put that there. Now hold to it now. Okay. And then, if you've got any, so you've just got a layer of tissue that you're going to be able to do something with. And again, just experiment. If you find something not sticking, use a stronger glue, or find another way of attaching it to the page. If it comes up, add something over it, or stitch it, or there's so many things you can do. And so what we've done so far is we've layered 2 pages, and that can be it. That might be all the time that you have. So, do you know what? I just felt like putting a piece of this on it, and I'm going to use this. So, the word for today that I've done on the blog is Radient, and it's also like shining your light on you. You've got a spark, you've got a creative spark, you've got desires, dreams, goals within you, and it's about letting that out. If you can't encourage yourself, then who can? We can't always rely or wait on other people to gee us up, but you've got to be able to do that for yourself. There are some people who around the world who do some amazing feats, not because they had a team of people. I can't even move my chair back because this dog. Not because they had a team of people cheering them on, but because their inner resilience, and we have to practice that. So radiance, shining your light for the world to see by doing the things that you're inspired to do, and you're blessing somebody else, you're encouraging somebody else, and making their lives richer, and yours in the process. And That's the page for today. These are the pages. All I've done, literally, Radiance. I have, well, it's not all I've done. I've spent some time being creative. So I've added tissue to the page and handmade paper to the page. So once this dries, it's going to go hard, and I'm going to be able to add some gesso, and I'm going to add, you know, this is prepping my journal for me to use for this month as well. On another page, I've added some map paper on 2 pages. On the front, I've added the word for the month, free, and put a butterfly on the back. And so you can, you know, the whole journal is a work in progress, and it isn't that, right, I've got to finish the front page, I've got to do this, I've got to do all of these things. It's that if I fancy working on a page at the back here, which I've done, like I've just did a mini collage. I had papers that I wanted to use, I like the colours, and I've just glued them onto that page, and I've just added, you know, like where I've got additional paint. So this is gonna want to dry naturally. If I fold it in any way, then the tissue will come up, and it'll probably take a day, so I'll probably use this again tomorrow. Anyway, so I'm going to leave it there. The word for today is radiant, and shine your light on you. Do the things that inspire you. Do the things that make you feel that you want to be creative. If you have a creative impulse to do something, and I'm going to be doing something with these, then do it. You know, spend that time doing something you really enjoy, even if it's just a little thing. So I hope that you found that useful. I hope that you go out and do something in your journal. This is not about pretty words and pretty, you know, journal pages or whatever to start with. It's about what happens in the background. Sometimes you've only got time for this, and I've learned that I have to give myself the time so that I make way for, you know, when you eventually see at the end of the month, I'll be doing a flip through. Some of the pages will just have writing on, some of the pages will just have imagery, some of the pages will have both. And but I'll end up with a journal that speaks to me and is a reminder of all the things I managed to achieve this month. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there, and I hope that you found it useful and that you go on to do your own creative thing. Take care for now.